Hello, welcome to Food Decoded, where I help you to reset your relationship with food, lose weight, keep it off, eat and live healthy. My name is Yemi Fadipe, and I'm so glad that you stopped by on my channel today. In this video, we will be continuing our ongoing series where we are exploring some perceptions around food and health. And today we will be looking to answer the question, is processed food good for you? What do you think? In a world where food processing has gone bonkers, I'm a food technologist and I can tell you that even I that work in the food industry see some processing concepts and I'm like, why do we actually need to go this far? You know, food processing has gone bonkers. How do we draw the line? How do we know what is good for us or not? How do we even know if this processing is actually to our advantage or not? How do we separate the truth from the white noise? And in this case, the white noise, the loudest white noise, is food advertisements. So come with me and let's explore this in greater detail. Let's face it, we can't all milk our own cows, mill our own wheat. What else do we process? Refine our own oil or extract our own oil. Maybe you can make your own bread, but for how long? So from a practicality point of view, food processing is here to stay. And basically, what is processed food? Processed food is any food that has been converted from its natural state to make it either more edible or to last longer. So in the real sense, every single one of us eats processed food. And okay, why do we need to process food? If we say that food in its natural state is perfect, we always talk about things like as nature intended, organic, raw, natural. If food is so good in its natural state, what is the point of processing? Why do we process in the first place? Now, processing of food isn't a bad thing in itself because you need to process some foods, one, to remove the inedible parts from the crops or from the animal to make the food or the product or the produce edible and safe for humans. The other one is to extend the life to make the food to store well and last longer. A lot of fresh food and fresh produce don't have more than 3 or 4 days life on them. So processing is one of the ways we store this food, extend the life, and reduce wastage. An essential part of food processing is to destroy microorganisms. As perfect as natural produce and natural foods are, microorganisms, I can't forget this word from university. That was my first line of microbiology, food microbiology. And it is that microorganisms are ubiquitous. Oh my gosh, that is big grammar for me. Which means microorganisms are everywhere. So food processing is one of the ways by which pathogenic microorganisms are destroyed, removed from food, and stopped from being able to grow on food. There is also another element of food processing that allows nutrients to be more available when the food is consumed, and that is when food processing is used to reduce anti-nutritional factors from food, like removing leptins from beans, or like removing hydrocyanic acid from cassava, things like that, which if you were consumed could either be poisonous or they have the tendency to bind with nutrients and not allow the nutrients to be released into the body system. So there is an element of food processing that helps with that. A final element of food processing or benefit of food processing that I would mention today is fortification and supplementation. If you followed my videos, especially when we talked about meat, you remember I did mention that there are some vitamins that are only available in animal-based products and not available naturally in plant-based products. When we did vitamin D a while back, we said vitamin D is not produced by the human system, it has to be put in food. So processing is one of the ways where those vitamins that are not readily available in your food can be added to the food. And this can be really useful to address population health. For those of you that grew up in Nigeria or in Africa, you will remember that across Africa, I think even up till now, table salt is iodized. And why? That's because of the prevalence of iodine deficiency. And food processing is the way that iodine gets put into the salt. Iodine is not naturally present in the salt. If you live in countries like the United Kingdom, you would know you might not know, but if you check your wheat flour label when you buy flour next time, you notice that there is folic acid, and that's one of the nutrients that people tend to be deficient from. And because of that, the government makes it mandatory that that's added to wheat flour to address population micronutrient deficiencies. So as you can tell, there is good in food processing. Food processing, however, has its drawbacks. There isn't anything, I don't think there's anything as 100% and absolute perfect in this world that we live in. So everything has its pros and its cons. Few of the cons of food processing would be, just like I said, that food processing can be a way of adding nutrients, fortifying and supplementing nutrients. Food processing can also have the ability to destroy nutrients that are already present in your food. And this is not only in the factory, by the way, guys, because when we talk about food processing, the first thing that comes to everyone's mind is big factories and machines and mass production. When you're cooking at home, you are processing food. One of the ways where we lose nutrients when we process our own food at home, especially with green vegetables, is overcooking, is things like blanching, and we do that a lot within the African culture. You buy green vegetables, rather than leave them whole in leaves, you first dice them, you slice it. When you're doing that, what are you doing? You're increasing the surface area of the green vegetables. Now you pour hot water on it. Vitamin B, vitamin C, which are the most prominent micronutrients in green vegetables, are water soluble. You pour hot water in it and everything is dissolved into the water. You've cut the vegetables, so you've already increased the surface area so that more of the vitamin B and vitamin C can leach into the water. So there are ways that even at home, we damage the nutrients in our food as a result of processing. So it's not only something that happens in big factories or commercial settings. Another drawback of processing is the addition of all these additives and preservatives and colors and flavors, some that are needed, but it has gone so haywire now that even some of these additives are not even needed. We're just trying to create effects that are not natural in food, and in some cases we start to introduce chemicals that are harmful to human health. A typical example, if you've seen my meat video, is nitrates and nitrites that we use in curing meat, which has been linked to bowel cancer because this chemical is carcinogenic, and up till now it is being used widely in the developed world. There is also studies that have linked ultra processing, and I will explain what this is later, to weight gain, and directly linked consumption of ultra processed food to all-cause mortality, to mortality rate. So food is supposed to be life-giving. When did we get to this point that we start to create food that shortens our own lives? So where do we draw the line? Can't do without processing, but where exactly do we draw the line?